Going to the Sun Road has officially opened as of June 22nd, 2024, and we are here to give you all the details you need to know. This roadway travels approximately 50 miles across Glacier National Park, reaching a maximum elevation of 6,646 feet at Logan Pass. This roadway is pretty spectacular with some of the most breathtaking views in the park and provides access to additional hiking trails as well as the Logan Pass Visitor Center. We highly recommend traveling this path during your visit, but there are a few things we want you to be aware of prior to taking this trek.
This road is only open during certain times of the year due to extreme weather at higher elevations. Typically, it remains open from late June to mid-October, which is pretty limiting if you come other times of the year. We arrived about a week before it opened, but the whole time we had no idea if it would be open during our visit. The National Park Service just randomly opens it when they feel the conditions are safe without any heads up or warning. Additionally, you need a timed reservation to take this road from the west entrance from May 24th through September 8th of 2024. You're trying to enter between the hours of 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. We always recommend coming in as early as you feel comfortable due to high levels of traffic and limited parking. We do not have any reservations during our entire visit, but we did arrive around 5:30 most mornings.
As mentioned, going to the Sun Road provides access to additional hiking trails as well as Logan Pass, one of which is Oberlin Trail, which we attempted just 2 days after the roadway opened. The conditions were not quite what we expected, and we can't wait to share this experience with you.
The trailhead starts at Logan Pass Visitor Center, which is located directly behind us in this video. You can see the trailhead for Hidden Lake in this same region, but there is not a trailhead for Oberlin because it's not regulated by the National Park Service.
Oberlin Trail is 3.6 miles long, with an elevation gain of 1,502 feet. This may not seem like much of a challenge to avid hikers, even with the elevation gain, but there are a few key things to mention about this trail that may change your perspective.
It's up this way.
This trail is a mountaineering route, which requires alpine route finding experience and rock scrambling. This may be a new experience for some people and definitely something to consider when venturing out on this trail.
For those of you who love a good challenge and find this to be the perfect type of hike, be aware that it only becomes more intense considering the amount of snow present at this elevation so early on in the season. For us, we somehow missed the fact that this trail had not been reviewed for the last 7 months. So more than likely, we were some of the first people to attempt this trail since going to the Sun open for the 2024 season.
If you do decide to take this trail, make sure you have a map downloaded to a phone or physically with you, as there are no markers on the trail to tell you where to go, since this hike is not managed by the National Park Service. There are quite a few areas on this trail that make trekking very difficult. We typically don't use hiking poles, but for this hike we felt it was necessary due to the slickness of the steep snow-covered terrain as well as the sporadic patches of ice.
Oh, you should also be aware that some areas aren't quite as packed down as you would think. As you can see, this particular area had a lot of soft snow that resulted in my leg getting stuck, so be super careful out there. As Matt mentioned, we don't typically use hiking poles, but I honestly believe I would not have been able to make it up this hill without them. They were definitely a necessity throughout this hike.
Another thing to be aware of is the snow-covered land bridges located on this trail. As you can see, there are regions where waterfalls are present and snow is laid over portions of the water either above or below the waterfall. This can be extremely dangerous if the snow is not as thick as you may believe, causing for one to go through the snow. On another hike, we were told by a ranger in another area of the park that this has resulted in multiple injuries and loss of life when people fall through these areas.
Here is another example of a snow-covered land bridge located on this trail. As you may be able to tell from the video, we did not have any footage of the summit. We did eventually turn back and chose not to complete the trail. This is solely because the conditions were way worse than we were expecting and just were not safe to continue. However, we do hope to come back in the future and become true mountaineers of this hike.
So Logan told me I had to explain myself here. Coming down the mountain was just too slick to walk down it. However, a mix between galloping like a horse and skiing was very efficient.
Seriously?
I didn't know what you were doing. I mean,
Come on, it's time.
okay, Logan's been time for like last 45 minutes.
The roadway is pretty spectacular with some of the most breathtaking.
At Logan Pass. Can't you just like cut that out later on? We can just start over immediately without getting up and down, right?
I gotta
We'll get it this time.
Going to the Sun Road has officially opened as a.
I'm like over here and you're like, going to the Sun Road.
Stop! That was a good intro.
You did really good in the first 4 words.